to swiftly bring back Matthew Weihs on stage for the FHS Africa Awards. And then we'll bring it to a wrap. Thank you so much. You've been such an incredible audience. Please do stay for the awards and a few announcements, and then we'll wrap up this stage. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for being here for this second award from the Creating Impact Awards at the FHS Africa. I've got the honor of introducing David Green, the CEO of the V&A Waterfront. Obviously, no doubt every single person in the room is aware of the waterfront, but for those that are perhaps unfamiliar with some of its details, I thought I'd share some with you now. The size of it is that it's 123 hectares in size. It delivers 95,000 meters squares worth of retail and over 100,000 meters square worth of offices. There are 13 hotels, 1,500 rooms. It obviously runs its own cruise terminal as well. It provides 24 million annual visitors to Cape Town and 23,000 jobs in the process. It's going through a secondary development now worth $1.1 billion US into Granger Bay. And we have the man behind this, David Green. We're going to find out a little bit more behind him. He's been recently honored with an OBE and now the FHS Africa Award for Outstanding Contribution to Hospitality. So without further ado, David Green, please. Come and join me.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us so much. So, David, this is an absolute honor for the event to be welcoming you here today. You've had 15 years of experience at the V&A. What's the one proudest contribution that you have delivered to the precinct?
Thanks, Matt. I'm obviously very honored and privileged and humbled to be here to receive this award. It's very tricky looking back 15 to one particular thing, but I guess the Waterfront, a number of you will know the Waterfront, but it was founded in around the early 1990s at the end of apartheid, and it was founded on a fantastic vision, and that was connecting Cape Townians with the sea. And it was focused on locals, and it became a place for tourists. But roll forward to when I arrived here. I actually first visited in 96 and was super impressed, but I came back in 2008, 2009. And by that time, the Waterfront was getting quite tired. It was part of Transnet, the state port company. It had been recently sold to third-party investors, but it really was losing its shine. It was a little bit worn. So I was very privileged and honored to be able to pull together a team of people, small team of people. And the first thing we did was set about bringing back the pride in the Waterfront. Bringing back the pride amongst the locals and really aiming for world-class standards. And that was based on the fact that we had World Cup coming in 2010. So it was a great finish line to get there. But I think through the years, what we've managed to do is we've managed to establish the Waterfront as the premier retail space in the country. It's now the premier office space within Cape Town, premier residential, setting the benchmark for residential and of course hospitality. But I think most importantly for us is that we've brought back the pride, we've brought back the innovation, the inspiration, and I think worldwide the waterfront here at the tip of Cape Town is regarded as one of the top waterfronts in the world.
Well, it's obviously a benchmark, I would say, certainly within Africa, but if not the world. It can't be finished. So what's the bits where you're saying, right, okay, so where do we take it from here?
Yeah, absolutely not. I think I have this saying that if you think you're finished, you're done. The beautiful thing about the Waterfront is that it's always got constantly new opportunities. It's a neighborhood. The sort of thing that really excites me about Cape Town is the tourism potential. Now, we've heard some of that, but literally to double, there's 1.5 million international visitors come a year. To double that is very achievable in the short to medium term. So we're literally looking at increasing the scale of the waterfront by some sort of 60% based on that tourism, based around this area of Granger Bay, and as you've mentioned, about a 1 billion. So we've got a really strong trajectory and optimism about the next 10 to 15 years of development at the waterfront.
So tell us a bit more about Granger Bay and how hospitality fits into that. How many new hospitality products are planned for it? What's your vision of it?
Yeah, Granger Bay is going to be predominantly, the area is the kind of jewel within the waterfront. We concentrated on connecting the waterfront with the city, but now we've got this area which is where the Grand Beach is, which has got perfect views, beautiful location, and it is going to be hospitality driven. So we are looking at probably adding, we're currently at 15 hotels, we're looking at adding about 5 further hotels and a lot of residential in there. So using the kind of core of the retail and the office to build out the hotel and hospitality.
Now, one of the challenges of development is to keep things both fresh, but keeping the historic aspect. How do you blend that, or how do you visualize that, and how do you deliver it?
Yeah, I think there's a very deep philosophical belief within the waterfront towards authenticity, and we feel that authenticity, that feel of a place, that smell of a place comes when you creatively and innovatively repurpose buildings. So we take the Zeitz-Mocker Museum, which was a 100-year-old piece of infrastructure. It was a grain silo. But to repurpose that, we could have done that for maybe half the price. But actually, just the soul, the character, that is now the cathedral in the center of a development. So from a piece of sort of agricultural infrastructure to being the kind of raising the muesli or the cathedral in the square. So there's a real deep felt philosophy that it's not just about the glitz and the glass and the glitz, it's actually how the building feels and the authenticity and the humanity around the building.
We've heard it a little bit throughout today's agenda, but last time I was here in Cape Town, it was a long time ago, and there was the drought.
Yeah.
During that period, there was the whole sort of water management piece, and obviously this new opportunity can embrace sustainability, and I know that you're doing that. So what measures are you doing throughout that? Why is that important, do you think, to the V&A's brand identity as such?
Yeah. Look, I think we're at the tip of Africa. We are probably subject to most of the changes, climate changes, most of the challenges that are going to come with climate change. And within Cape Town itself, there is an incredible consciousness and technical know-how and skill set within sustainability. And with our shared values, you know, one of the first things people want to do is about the planet for the future of our children. So this Granger Bay project, we quite ambitiously have gone to be regenerative. So one thing is carbon neutral, but we're kind of going beyond that. But to do carbon neutral, we've got a whole series of kind of initiatives and pilot projects that we've got on the go. But we start with seawater cooling, we start with district cooling. We then say that for all the utilities that the city provides, we will become self-sufficient. So we'll put no demand on any of the city resources. So water, we've currently, in the last 3 months, put in place a desalination plant. Waste, we're currently at 70% diversion. We'll move to 100%. And we're piloting an advanced pyrolysis system which will burn the waste and change it into energy. We have signed up an agreement to wheel in 70% of our energy from green sources, and we're working, we've kind of maxed out on solar panels, we're piloting wind. So within energy, we will not put any demands on the city's supply of energy. Water, I've talked about. Wastewater, we are piloting plant-based enzyme approach to, and currently 15% of our waste. We're piloting these single building packet systems. So we'll get to a point where we'll process all of our waste. So yeah, it's ambitious, but I think, you know, the fabulous thing about working in Cape Town is there's a consciousness and there's a competence and capability to do that kind of thing in the tip of Africa.
That's very impressive. Obviously the new development new opportunities. What gaps remain in the precinct's hospitality offerings there? What are you looking for?
Yeah, look, I think right now we're on a drive to bring in the premier offering from the international brands. You know, South Africa post-apartheid hasn't managed to bring in the sort of premier offering from the international brands, so we're looking at that just now. Very, very strong demand on boutique hotels. But I think we're also looking at kind of broadening the base. We're looking at long stay. We're looking at this sort of merging of property to rent and longer stay apartments. And clearly we see with this big development where we're actually creating a bay, we see the opportunity to bring in some resort accommodation as well.
The change towards the big brands, obviously the change towards the structures, typically real estate, long leases was the way. Now you're open to management contracts, and why is that? What's driving that?
Yeah, look, I think our investors have grown in confidence. I think we've heard people talk about their retail investor, commercial office. They're a bit scared when they come to hotels, but I think we've got to a point where the investors back us in the sense that if we can create a precinct and a district that is safe, it's secure, that will drive the profitability of the hotels. So we took our first venture quite safely going into the kind of 3-4 star with the Radisson Red. It has outperformed quite dramatically. So there's a kind of confidence level. And now going forward, there is a kind of strong acceptance that a lot of the operational performance of the hotel will be dependent on how attractive we make the precinct and the different points of interest and how well we run it. And therefore, we should kind of go upstream and ensuring the benefit of that.
Fabulous. One more question before I hand the award, because you mentioned that your quote that if you think you're finished, you're done. And referring back to that, does this mean that you're going to be working into the 2035, 2050, or will you be cleaning the cruise ships, or what's the future look like for you, David?
Yeah, I think 10 years from now, I think I'll be on the cruise ship. I'll be talking to the captain about what he should do, and I'll possibly be sitting in one of the restaurants in the waterfront, instructing
and
people
enjoying it, and the success that you've had. And well, thank you, David, for joining us and being part of FHS Africa. We're absolutely delighted in delivering the award to you today for outstanding contribution to hospitality. I think that's very important. I know that it's a massive mixed-use development that you've done, but the hospitality bit is what drives it, and we want to thank you for that. So thank you so much for coming.
Honor. Thank you.
May I award this? Thank you. There you go. Thank you so much. Very nice. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
Nice chat.